Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Psalm chapter 137, verses 1 through 3. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, By the River of Babylon.
By the river of Babylon, there we sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. when we remember Zion.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things, have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. Just the song itself is a interesting topic when you deal with those that carried us away captive, required of us a song. This is biblical, okay? Why is it that we're the only ones singing those songs? If other people were so-called made captive, why is it that we've never heard any of those individuals sing those songs? Matter of fact, it is a desirable thing that people want to hear us, even during the midst of slavery. The auditoriums would be packed right coming out of it, even up to this day. Gentiles packed to hear black people sing these songs. Why? How is it that nobody else has a connection to these songs? And people understand the power of that. Listening to some of our, older groups, you find out that, these guys were amazing in playing instruments. it was normal for us to learn how to play music in school. They completely took all of that out. Their aim was to completely kill this generation with the lack thereof of music. But at the same time, they were taking all the instrument playing and being able to read music out of schools. At the same time, rap was invented. You have to understand something. If you take away all rap music right now, you have a serious problem. All R&B country is now influenced by it. Them taking that music out of schools was supposed to completely limit us. And the plan just didn't work because something else came about that they didn't plan. So what happened? Now they have to control that music. Because that music was not controlled by the Ish or anybody else when it was first introduced. After a while, it was seen how powerful it was, and now the control was handed over. So whereas you might have all the record execs maybe of one ethnicity, all the people who making this music and going to jail and getting shot at all look like us. But the people in the office don't. So when we just see or listen to a song, we don't understand how close those songs are related to the plight of our people. And there's a reason why we're the only ones singing those songs. And the adversary has to use everything in his power to make us doubt. And those songs were how we were building ourselves up. Our people would be in the fields still singing. Well, you don't ask people to sing a song if they can't sing. One thing about it, our people have always been able to make melody. Other people have learned how to make melody by watching us. Ain't nobody requiring of people a song who can't sing. Don't nobody want to hear that. So you have to ask yourself a question. Why has this always been required of us? Always. There's something to that. Now it is written that Abraham believed Elohim, and it was accounted unto him for righteousness. This instructs us that belief has an elevated value in the eyes of our Elohim. Romans 10:10 says, for with the heart man believes unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Yahshua adds credence to such a concept by asking before performing a miracle, do you believe I can do this? Without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to Elohim must first believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. But the adversary has to make you doubt. And everything that we witness has this underlining potential, from either showing us in unhappy situations in their movies and their commercials. All of it is to make us doubt who we are. And at the end result, we end up showing more love to the ones who actually have nothing but hatred for us. They just disguise their hatred as love. Let's begin today's sermon in 2 Samuel chapter 15. And today's sermon is entitled, Counted Unto Righteousness. See, we have to get ourselves prepared to deal with the fake display of love. And we believe that when these commercials, these movies come out, that we're happy when we see someone of us in it. But once you start to follow the storyline, you'll find out that they're killing us in the actual display that we're so happy to be in. Follow the storyline and see what happens. Watch how every commercial, whenever there's a couple, it's not one of us. Keep going. When it does have a black woman, pay attention to why she's always by herself. What this is subliminally to make sure you are constantly in doubt about yourself. Who would spend money to put forth these images? You got to first ask yourself a question. And who could be powerful enough to make everybody do it? Because you have to ask, these are separate companies. You know, this company has no relation to that company. How is it that all of their commercials follow the same setup? Somewhere, somebody has gotten together and agreed, this is the way we're going to make these people doubt themselves. And it doesn't matter what you really are. It matters what you think you are. I tell people all the time, I thought Michael Jackson was one of the most handsome guys ever. I thought he was cool with the glowing socks, the afro, and the big nose. He didn't think so, though. And in turn, he cut himself up so much that he became hideous, not knowing that he was already handsome. He was a handsome guy. But it doesn't matter what he thought. If somebody else put in his thought process that he wasn't, now something is driving him. No matter what he sees, he doesn't accept what he sees because his brain had been reprogrammed to not accept that. 2 Samuel chapter 15, let's start at verse 1.
And it came to pass after this, that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early, and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so, that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him, and said, Of what city are you? And he said, Your servant is of one of the tribes of Israel. Mm-hmm. And Absalom said unto him,
Now, understand now, we go past things and we don't see us in it. Come on, man, this is one of the first things we ask people. Hey, bro, where you from? Man, we nickname people by where they from. Where you from? Oh, okay. All right, what's up, Atlanta? Holla at me. There's folks that don't even know your name, and you go somewhere else, they call you by the city you from. You don't see us? We still do the same thing today. Go ahead.
Absalom said unto him, See, your matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king to hear you. Absalom said moreover, Oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which has any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice.
So here is the plan of manipulation put in effect. The plan of manipulation is now going to make these people feel loved, but he has a plan. Go ahead.
And it was so, that when any man came near to him to do him obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel.
So how easily can your heart be stolen by a display? He stole the hearts of the men of Israel. Now, he gonna use their heart to put forth something else when it's time. See, so he's working on the long game right now. The long game is to go ahead and steal the hearts of the men of Israel because there's something else that he has planned, but he needs to get them on his side first. So all of the pretend of acceptance, a hug and a kiss and telling everybody your matters are right. Everybody matters ain't right. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. If everybody matters right, then we got a problem. How everybody gonna be right? But if you're trying to get the favor of the people, see, he campaigning, this campaign slogan right here. The problem is Yahweh don't elect kings. He appoints them. But we got somebody running for an election. He already got campaign slogans. Everything. He going out, kissing the kids. This a real live. He real live running for office right here. Okay, go ahead.
And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray you, let me go and pay my vow, which I vowed unto Yahweh in Hebron. For your servant vowed a vow while I abode at Geshur in Syria, saying, if Yahweh shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I'll serve Yahweh. And the king said unto him, go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as you hear the sound of the trumpet, then you shall say, Absalom reigns in Hebron.
Now you see how Yahweh's name is in his deception. See, there's certain things you need to learn. Is a boundary. He sits right now. He's already used the appearance of speaking to everybody and hugging them and kissing them. This is all a part of his plan. Then he proceeds to ask leave of the king, and Yahweh's name is in his life. We will do and say some things. We will read the commandments and not see how that applies. We will read something and say, you shall not take Yahweh, your Elohim name in vain. What do you think he just did? See, when you're going to use a setup that Yahweh has to further some slickly put together private agenda, you just use his name in vain. I don't know what you think he did. See, this is not how we would put that together. He just used his name in vain. He put his name in the reason why he needed to go. Okay, go ahead.
And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel the Gileonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices. And the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. And there came a messenger to David, saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, arise, and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword.
You have to think about how humbling this has to be, that to keep this peace, he has to run from a man, his own son, so that he can not kill his own son in war. And we're talking about a warrior, a man whom the women sung songs when he returned. He is a warrior. They know that he is skilled in battle, and he has to pack up and leave to keep from getting into this battle. This hurts. And you got to understand, these people are looking like, what do you mean we leaving? We leaving. You got to understand, there's some people that's around there, man. Look, man, come on, man. I know he's your son, but I'll bring his head to you in a minute. Now, just give me the okay. This is humbling. Go ahead.
Elder, not only is it humbling, he's not how we would say nowadays, I ain't no punk.
Yeah.
The man is saying, nah, this is necessary for right now. We don't see how, what they say, fight and run away and live to fight another day. Mm-hmm. But no, we going to fight right now. The man already told you. This man got all the other people on his side.
So it's going to be a bloodbath at this time if you fight right now. Mm-hmm. If you take this fight right now, he has worked for years and gaining the favor of these people. The question is, one of the things it says they went in their simplicity. So that means he has levels. There's some people that know what they're doing. Other people don't know any idea. They don't have any clue that they are involved in some deceitful trickery. But what does that mean? That means they believe in their mission wholeheartedly because they don't know it's foul. Go ahead.
That's the same thing you've said about, some of these Christians, that how we down look. It's like, no, some of them are going in their simplicity.
You got it.
And they're going to have an opportunity to get it right.
You got it. They putting everything that they know how to do into serving their God. They just have a limited understanding. Now that guy standing up front, not so. He know exactly what he's doing. Go ahead.
And the king's servant said unto the king, Behold, your servants are ready to do whatsoever my master the king shall appoint.
You see that? Look here. Wait a minute. Hey, that which also means if you said, go bring me the third lock from the left side of your head, I'm telling you, I go get it. Tell me bye, I go get it. I go get it. I get the third. I'll let 1 and 2 go. Number 3, I bring it to you. I'm talking about with the scalp still on it. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Tell me what you need, King. Tell me. This is a hard situation to deal with. So, do we fight because we can? Or do we make the moves necessary to preserve Israel in the best way possible? Hey man, you ain't dealing with no punk now. You're talking about the king with all the warriors. Come on now. Man, we push down this. But what kind of problem are we going to have in Israel if we turn around and kill all these Israelites right now because we upset? Because we've been disrespected. You know how many of us in jail right now? Because we've been disrespected. And you know what they have to deal with when they go to jail? Absolute nothing but disrespect. They make you pull your pants down. And they search for weaponry. And they search in places that I don't think you can store any. But you in here because you got disrespected. Now it's a room of them watching you be disrespected. You having to use a toilet with no privacy. Wait a minute, but you in here because you got disrespected. Now they hosing you down. But you didn't want to be disrespected. You see how we'll let one thing take us so far, and then that thing, you end up dealing with everything that you were so-called fighting to not deal with. So if we can deal with that moment of pride, then you ain't got to do the next 72 months of having your pride stepped on. Keep reading, Brie.
And the king went forth, and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were concubines, to keep the house. So
then you have a moving here of a great magnitude. And you know these people got to be saying something. Well, what are women who used to sing? What they saying right now?
Oh, how glorious is the king today. Look at Juggins. I didn't even know he had a tail, but his tail done went between his skirt.
You think they ain't, you don't think they saying nothing? You don't think they talking? What you think, they just stopped? You think they heard they mamas singing and then a whole nother generation come? You don't think they talking?
I had just decorated my patio, and now we gonna leave? And it's because his son.
You don't think they talking?
See, if he'd have been a man, just whoop his son's ass.
You don't think they talking? Okay. All right. I want to read something here. In Romans 16 and 18, it says, for they that are such serve not our Adonai Yahshua the Messiah, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. It says they went in their simplicity. Right. So a little bit of fake display, and they are going against Yahweh, their Elohim, and feel justified in doing so. And all it took to do it was false acceptance. False acceptance. I want to read something else. It says in 2 Peter 2 and 3, and through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingers not, and their damnation slumbers not. We are being made merchandise of, and we're showing love to something, and those people have no love for us whatsoever. Only what they can get out of us. And we are making the nations rich. We are making them rich. I mean rich, rich. Not hood rich, rich, rich. I watched a program and it was talking about why, I think one of the brothers had posted something about why we buy so much designer things. And because we were denied at a certain point that we had to buy knockoff stuff, as soon as we got the opportunity, we wanted nothing but name brand things. So the very people who don't want us, I mean, the designer can say, I didn't make my clothes for black people. Then we buy the stuff off the shelf. They don't want to have nothing to do with us, but we making them rich, rich. Because we going over and beyond to pay for the most expensive designer, not necessarily quality. Now, it began about quality, but it turned into something else. Now we'll pay something high price, and the quality ain't there at all. Let's go to Malachi chapter 1. It's gotten to the point now where we just being tricked. They say, well, jack up the price. They'll think it's good. Malachi chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 14.
The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, says Yahweh. Yet you say, wherein have you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Says Yahweh, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we're impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh has indignation forever.
The people against whom Yahweh has indignation forever. Now, if you're in a situation of having Yahweh have indignation for you forever, you know, you have to try really hard. And that's why we see so many programs of deceit, if you will, to make sure that a group of people are portrayed or perceived in a certain manner. When Yahweh has indignation for a group forever, even when Yahweh was, got angry with Israel, he never said he had indignation. He said, point blank, I'm not going to always be against you. He said, for a little time, I've hid my face from you. That's totally different from saying that he has indignation with these people forever. Go ahead.
And your eyes shall see, and you shall say, Yahweh will be magnified from the border of Israel. A son honors his father, and a servant his master. If then I be a father, where is mine honor?
Where is mine honor? You can't say that we're going to honor Yahweh, but as soon as something comes up that is uncomfortable, we don't want to deal with it. Soon as something comes up that causes us to dive deeper in our hearts and minds, oh, we got a problem. We'll deal with Yahweh as long as everything goes smooth without a hitch and we don't have to change anything about ourselves. He said, that ain't no sir. I don't know what you're doing, but you ain't serving it. I don't know what you think you're doing. Hell, even at a job, you got to change. You go into a job and you working on the left side. They said, no, today I need you on the right. Do you quit? Did you quit the job? Did you quit because they wanted you to work on the right side of the building today and not the left side? But no, I don't got to custom to the left side. Do you quit? This is what we do to Yahweh. The minute Yahweh wants to alter something with us, I think I'm going to do something else. This seems too personal. Okay. Go ahead.
And if I be a master, where is my fear? Says Yahweh of hosts unto you. O priests that despise my name. And you say, wherein have we despised your name? You offer polluted bread upon mine altar. And you say, wherein have we polluted you?
Right. If you do a work and that work is halfway done, that work is polluted. Just because we're not doing offerings, your work, your service is what you're offering unto your Elohim. You might as well have put polluted bread on his altar. You're going to have to do the work, don't do the work at all. Go ahead.
In that you say, the table of Yahweh is contemptible. And if you offer the blind for sacrifice, is it not evil?
Check that out. Wait a minute. Wait. He didn't say you was lazy. He didn't say you put forth half effort. He said your offering was evil. Now, we have our own thought process of what evil is. We have our own thing, okay, and it normally, involves like somebody killing somebody doing something in the street. We won't think that the individual who's approaching unto Yahweh's altar, that Yahweh said, look at Dr. Evil over here. What is that? Go ahead.
And if you offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto your governor. Will he be pleased with you?
Right.
Or accept your person?
Look, Matt, we've had situations where we had holy days and folks supposed to bring a dish. And I call it, they brought some chicken ass turkey, is what I call it. They had the turkey, right? I told them to get turkey. Now, they got two turkeys. They got one for themselves because they were going to have their own shindig at their house. And then they got the little turkey and put it in the pan. And then, you know how folk, when they losing their hair, they get the hair and they just shake it and try to spread the hair out. So they got the turkey and they just spread the turkey out. All over the little pan. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Now, we got some big burly brothers up in here, right? And we got that chicken ass turkey that's going to sit here. It ain't enough turkey to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can look in the pan and I still see the bottom of the pan. I said, damn, I see the pan. I'm at the top of the pan. But they didn't consider who they were supposed to be making that for. Oh, yeah, just a little bit of time. Yahweh ushered them right out of that damn door. And you take your chicken head turkey with you. Go ahead, bro.
It says Yahweh of hosts. And now, I pray you, beseech Elohim that he will be gracious unto us. This has been by your means. Will he regard your persons, says Yahweh of hosts? Who is there even among you that would shut the doors for naught? Neither do you kindle fire on mine altar for naught. I have no pleasure in you, says Yahweh of hosts. Neither will I accept an offering at your hand.
Neither will I accept. Once you get to the point that Yahweh is done, you can't give him nothing new. You can go ahead and take that back to the house. Like, oh, no, I'm not accepting any of that. You never want to get yourself in a situation where you are not even allowed to give him something. You ain't even allowed to work for him. Bye. Turn around. Yeah, but I came to work today. No. Every time you done came to work, it's been some deception in it. Turn around, go the other way. Go ahead.
For from the rising of the sun even on to the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles. And in every place incense shall be offered unto my name, and a pure offering, for my name shall be great among the heathen, says Yahweh of hosts. But you have profaned it, in that you say, the table of Yahweh is polluted, and the fruit thereof, even his meat, is contemptible. You said also, behold, what a weariness is it, and you have snuffed at it, says Yahweh of hosts, and you brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus you brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand?
Should I accept this just because you brought it? Should I just say, okay, well, I mean, at least they brought something? Why didn't do that same situation with Cain and Abel? Why didn't they just say, all right, well, since both y'all did bring something. I don't want to. I want to be fair, so I'm gonna take both of them. Well, wait a minute. When you're trying overly to be fair to one, you're actually being unfair to the other one, because this one brought what he was supposed to bring. He brought the first of his increase. So if you're being nice to the one who brought the half, what you're really doing is being mean to the other one. But that ain't how we look at it. We think we doing something good when we be nice to the person who brought the half effort. Yeah, you being nice to them, all right, but you being exceptionally evil to the person who did what they were supposed to do. Because what have you done? You've put them on equal levels. Go ahead.
Says Yahweh. But cursed be the deceiver, which has in his flock a male, and vows, and sacrifice unto the Adonai a corrupt thing. For I'm a great king, says Yahweh of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. So
consider verse 14, but cursed be the deceiver, which has in his flock a male, and vows and sacrifice unto Yahweh a corrupt thing. This is how they were explaining to Dawid what he had done. When they said, instead of dealing with one of his own, and he had many sheep, he went and got this other man's one little ewe lamb. Okay, boom. Dawid was able to look at that and say, this is wicked. Okay. You see that there's basis throughout our book for the same thought process. Let's go to Amos chapter 5. See, one of the things that we have to understand is there may be somebody that you may not see working at all. You may not even see them. But they have done some things that Yahweh has counted as righteousness. We're going to be surprised who Yahweh let into his kingdom and who he does not. Amos chapter 5, and let's start at verse 10.
They hate him that rebukes in the gate, and they abhor him that speaks uprightly.
Right. See, he's not making friends. They hate him that rebukes, and they abhor him that speaks uprightly. Why? Because that's uncomfortable. What people want to hear is a bunch of nice things. And the earth lets you know that you'll prosper if you say all these nice things. We'll make sure you have plenty of money now. All you got to do is uplift us every time you get a chance. I watched the program, Joel Osteen. I needed an insulin shot. It was so sweet. It was sweet. This is my Bible. It says what it says, and and everything else was anecdotes. I said, boy, this is so sweet. I need something sour just to get all this sugar. It was the sweetest thing. But that's why he in the auditorium, the old baseball stadium. He will not upset not one individual there. The problem is that's why they're not reading from that book. You notice they'll pick the book up and they'll hold it, and then he put it back down. He don't read out that book. Hence, you want to keep people happy? You better stay the hell out of here. Because let me tell you something. You going to get your feelings hurt in here when I can close my eyes. Flip this book. Preach, start reading now. I guarantee you, 2 of y'all finna get pissed off. Hell, it might piss me off.
I got to go home and deal with this here. Yeah.
It is what it is. You want to be made better, or you just want to be happy? Okay, all right. Go ahead, bro.
For as much therefore as your treading is upon the poor, and you take from him burdens of wheat, you have built houses of hewn stone, but you shall not dwell in them. You have planted pleasant vineyards, but you shall not drink wine of them. For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor in the gate from their right. Therefore the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time. Seek good and not evil, that you may live. And so Yahweh, the Elohim of hosts, shall be with you, as you have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that Yahweh Elohim of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Yosef.
Now, if we deal with verse 15, hate the evil, love the good, well, wait a minute. If God is love, where's the hate and the evil part? If he is just love, you know we got a problem, right? Because that means now we're loving the evil that we're supposed to hate.
But you can't say God hate nothing. See, God accepts everybody.
Nah, no, the hell he don't. Because I'm reading this and it says certain things he ain't going to deal with. Hell, schools don't accept everybody and everything. They got rules. Clubs don't accept everything and everybody. Gangs won't even accept. A gang will look at you and say,
You're not even gang material.
what? What? Well, I can do foul.
It was like, no, you can't. No, you can't. It's not even in you to do dirt. Mayhem, when I look at you, I don't see murder and mayhem. You should go somewhere else. We don't think you are gangly enough to be in our gang.
What? The gang got rules. Okay. Go ahead.
That was it, verse 14.
That was it. Where you at? No, keep
No,
going.
it's not. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Verse 16. Therefore Yahweh, the El of hosts, the Adonai, says thus, Wailing shall be in all the streets, and they shall say in all the highways, Alas, alas, and they shall call the husbandmen to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. And in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through you, says Yahweh. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light.
Wait a minute. That's not what we heard on Sunday morning. That is going to be a beautiful thing. Let me tell you something. Whenever you are turning wrongs and making right, it's going to get worse before it get better. Go ahead.
As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it? I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
Wait a minute. We're at this point so-called doing the things that is contained in the law, but it ain't that we are doing them, it's how we're doing them. So then we have works, we have commitments, we have things. No, it's not that whether or not we doing them. How are you doing them? He the one that commanded us to keep these holy days. Then he turn around and tell us, I hate your holy day. Yahweh, they're yours. Yeah, but I hate how you doing. Go ahead.
Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
I will not accept them. You think Yahweh just got to accept something just because you gave it? You don't understand my Elohim. Yahweh don't need us. We need him. Go ahead.
Take you away from me the noise of your songs,
Look at that.
for I will not hear the melody of your viols.
You find these songs and all of this deeply connected with us. There is no genre of music that is not influenced by us. Not one. Yet we have been forced out of every executive corner of the music industry. Yet every part of it is all us. The adversary of the devil know the power of that music. If Dawid could play on an instrument and make an evil spirit leave a man, then the adversary said, you know what? I think something. That means if I play the right songs, I can make the evil spirit go back in. Oh. Why do you think they keep giving our kids murder, death, kill? Over and over, murder, death, kill, murder, death, kill, murder, death, kill. So then they wake up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? They ain't heard nothing. Murder, death, kill. After they ain't even listening to that. By that point, it's in there. Hey, he figured out, wait a minute. If music can make an evil spirit leave, then damn it, if I play that music wrong, it can bring that evil spirit in. Okay. Then it becomes necessary for your enemy to control your music. You know exactly what they're doing. Go ahead, brother.
You know, Elder, you were talking in the opening statement about these songs, you know, that our people would sing, and our oppressors would come from all over to pack stadiums, here and in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, what are those songs titled? Negro spirituals.
Right.
So if the other people are supposed to be the people, why they ain't called something else spirituals?
Hey, bro, I ain't never even heard of no other kind of spirituals. You heard? I ain't never heard of no spirituals. I ain't never heard of Roman spirituals. I never heard of Greek spirituals. I never heard of Middle Eastern spirituals. I never heard of any kind of spirituals except the Negro kind. Right. Go ahead, brother.
But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But you have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch and Chiun, your images, the star of your God.
The star of your God. So wait a minute. So you got everybody walking around with what they claim is a Star of David. Yahweh said something else. That's where, and then what's interesting is he said, you have borne the tabernacle of Moloch and Chiun, your images, the star of your God. Wait a minute, which you made to yourself. You made that image. Now, the image, soon as somebody sees the star, they automatically think, oh, this is a religious thing that represents such and such people. That ain't what my book say. Now, here's the problem. This is in the Old Testament. This is not in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have is an automatic, we don't have to deal with anything that's in the New Testament. Yeah, but wait a minute. There are too many things in this Old Testament that it doesn't seem like you're dealing with. Oh, that's right. You give them another book, and then that way you don't have to deal with any of this. Oh, okay. I got it now. Go ahead.
Therefore will I cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, says Yahweh, whose name is the Elohim of hosts.
All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 26. But if you can be given a certain amount of low self-esteem regarding this, you'll still be too nervous to say what it is, See, when you go and learn, I don't care if it's boxing and martial arts or whatever, you know, you have to train that, practice that kick more than one time, right? You know, you just said, man, I just learned the roundhouse kick, and that's it. You don't ever do the kick no more again. And then, when you get into a fight, you ain't doing that kick but once, it don't look good. Now, you training to be a boxer. They show you what a jab is. You say, yep, that's the jab. And then you don't do it no more for 20 years. Chances are, when it's time to fight, you're going to throw that jab wrong. You're going to lean in too far, and you're going night-night. You're going night-night. And you're going to say, well, I did it just like the textbook said. The textbook? So there wasn't no muscle memory? Oh, you didn't practice this at all? Okay. So if we just read this one time, and you say, I've heard this before. No. Don't tell me what you've heard. Wait until you get encountered on the side of the road. Then tell me what you know. When your nerves start going there, well, then we're going to see. See, it's one thing to know this calmly, sitting here. Something altogether different when your enemy is in front of you. And your enemy is telling you, I speak this language, and I do this, and I have a passport, and I've been here, and I've been there. And here go just a little old bitty you, Pooka Jones. What you gonna do? And you're gonna wish you would have had you kept your notes, and you start going over your notes every day. No. Because feelings and anxiety gonna be going everywhere. What you gonna do? Now, there's knowing this. And then there's knowing this when your enemy is standing in front of you. It ain't the same thing. Go ahead, pray.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 36. Then comes Yahshua with them onto a place called Gethsemane, and says unto the disciples, sit you here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Cephas and the sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then says he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry you here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me.
If this be possible. The first thing we want to do is we want to say that we're servants. But as soon as something happens that cramps our style, that we feel uncomfortable, and let's say it may even be right, that this was done and I didn't like it, it wasn't done right. Oh, Yahshua and Yahweh is absolutely impeccable on letting stuff that's wrong go right. No, let that happen. Because I want to see what they're going to do with it. What he said? I'm going to give you the land, but I ain't going to give you, no. Leave them other people over there at the top of the hill. Mm-hmm. Yahweh is our land. I mean, you gave us the land. So why you going to leave them people at the top of the hill? Come on, see if you going to serve me or not. What? Yeah, I'm going to leave them there. Because I want to see if you're going to hang out on top of that hill over there. I want to see if you're going to go and partake in the festivities, because you're going to look up the hill and be like, what are they doing up there? They doing some dancing. This is a party. I'm going to go to that party. Okay. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.
Nevertheless, there's what I want, and then there's what you want. I'm telling you what I want, but I submit to what you want. Now, wait a minute. If this is our master, and our master has submissiveness in his spirit, what are we doing again? If we can't submit to our Elohim, how do we go home and tell a woman,
You know, you need to submit to what I'm telling you to do.
oh, really? Tell me where you made your changes for your Elohim again. Because, you know, when Yahweh asks you to do something, because he done did it too. When he said, hey, go sacrifice your son, Yahweh already know, I got to sacrifice mine. And he still, I'm going to keep you from doing it, but I need to make sure you're going to do it. So he's not going to ask you to do something that he's not going to do. Do we do that? Do we require something that we ain't willing to offer? Go ahead.
And he comes on to the disciples and finds them asleep, and says unto Cephas, what, could you not watch with me 1 hour?
Uh-huh.
Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Uh-huh.
He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, your will be done.
Your will be done, but I don't want this. This is uncomfortable. Please, is there another way? Do I have to do this? Is there please give me another way to deal with this. But nonetheless, if this is what I got to do, then this is what I got to do. Go ahead.
And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away and prayed the third time, saying the same words.
Saying the same words. He know what he want. Ain't no need saying no different word. Go ahead.
Then comes he to his disciples and says unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners.
Uh-huh.
Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me.
So now you understand what he was praying about. Yahweh done showed him, all right, this was about to go down. Please, Father, is there any other way? Can we bring about the redemption of my people a different way? Please, this is extremely uncomfortable. No, there's no other way, son. So this is a very sorrowful statement. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me. You know, nothing went wrong here. You understand that betrayal is part of his walk. Mm-hmm. I don't think we really, I don't think we're grasping that. See, we think something has gone wrong when we get betrayed. You don't understand that betrayal is a part of the walk. It is going to make you stronger. It is going to give you thicker skin. We all would like to think that we're going to rise to this wonderful level without any bad thing happening unto us. That's cute. But that ain't how it's going to happen. That ain't how you're going to get your strength. This ain't the Matrix where you just take the pill and you blink like 8 times. I know martial arts. Nah, that ain't how it works. You got to go out there in that backyard and get the kicking and get the swinging. That's how you're going to learn your martial art. You ain't going to take no pill and blink 12 times and know it. And you ain't going to get that thick skin until some things happen to you. You're going to cry your first 3-4 times. And then you realize the tears get less and less. And you realize that turmoil is what brings that. One of the scariest moments in my life was when the wife of my youth stopped crying. Scared the absolute hell out of me. When she got tougher and tougher, we kept going through trials and tribulation. And one day it was like, what? I'm like, oh hell, what you have? Got tougher. Hey, keep it up. You're going to get tough sooner or later. Yahweh said, oh, no. This going to make you better. This going to make you better. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, this even confirms with what Yahshua is saying. Is there any other way? He's not explaining what it is. Well, Yahweh say, do I do a thing and not show my servants first?
Uh-huh.
So he's got this knowledge. Now, when he shows us a thing and we don't like it, are we going to try to override it?
No, we override it. We take off running. He got to go find her. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be in one town. We 4 towns over. But we swear we want to see. We so damn nosy. So we want to know everything. Then Yahweh show us, and then you can't find us. Wait a minute. I thought you said you wanted to be close to your Elohim.
Yeah, he showed me, and I didn't like what he showed me. I thought it was time for a vacation.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Bree.
And while he yet spake, lo, Yehudis, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves.
He already knew who was coming. He already knew who it was. He knew who was going to betray him. Here's that thing that we have to wrap our heads around. You can know what Yahweh is going to do, but when that moment comes, it is still going to be the most earth-shattering thing you have ever been a part of. We can read this book and know what's going to happen. You still don't know how it's going to happen. So the closer he gets to this, understand, he already knows this. He know this. But he also know he got to feel it. If you're going to redeem these people, you got to hurt. Yeah, I'm going to give you your life back. But you got to feel it. You got to feel every punch. You got to feel every nail. You got to feel when they spit on you. You got to hear when they ridicule you. He can't take that away. But your power comes in that. If he takes it away, then he's also taking away your power. Do you want the power or not? Go ahead.
From the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same as he, hold him fast.
Wait a minute. Isn't that what Absalom did? He hugged him and kissed him. Right, it was all deceitful betrayal. It was fake love. You find that from the beginning of the book to the end. A display. And his display is, that's the one, go get him. When you see me hug him and kiss him, that's the one. Go ahead.
And forthwith he came to Yahshua and said, Hail, master, and he kissed him.
Check that out. Acting like he really a part of the group. Boy, ain't we something? Go ahead.
And Yahshua said unto him, Friend, wherefore are you come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahshua and took him.
Check this out. Then Yahshua gonna have a conversation like he don't know what's going on. Hey, friend, where you come from? Go ahead.
And behold, one of them which were with Yahshua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahshua unto him, Put up again your sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinketh you that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels?
Right. I can pray. I just got to pray. But when I said my prayers, nonetheless, your will be done. I understand. This is the scariest thing. To have power to alter something. But what else does it alter? All right, he can alter his punishment. He can alter his pain. What else does it alter? What else do they not get? My elder used to ask the question, are you comforting the people or are you seeking comfort? If he seeks his comfort, he is taking something from them. Go ahead.
But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? In that same hour said Yahshua to the multitudes, Are you come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me?
Now, understand something now. You know that one of his disciples done cut off the ear because that's the only people that he with. Okay? Now, you look and you said, well, my man, hey, it was time to swing that sword. No, it wasn't. Because he was going to die next. And if that indeed was Cephas, how you going to lead the church going forward? I know you ready to fight now. Sometimes you have to learn today ain't the day. I got to fight next week. You fight today, everybody gone. We talking about at this point, all of the disciples could get killed in one whop. But emotion said, swing back. Emotion said, swing back. What did Dawid have to do? Let's pack up and let's leave. You don't think he can fight? Yahshua says, wait a minute, so you got David, son of David. Wait a minute, there's some kind of connection here. This ain't the time to swing. Think not that I can't call my father. Put your sword up. I didn't do all this work not to have no disciples. Oh, y'all about to die right here in these woods. And then what's going to happen with all the teaching? I've been doing all this teaching. No, put the sword up. Okay, go ahead.
I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and you laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that had laid hold on Yahshua led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest.
The only way they have the opportunity to run is because there's not a dude there with an ear hanging. They don't have the opportunity to run if he doesn't fix that. And if they all start fighting, they die. Yahshua's the only one they want to publicly kill. They can privately kill them and it doesn't matter. No. They need to publicly kill him for a message for anybody else who might try to stand up against the governing body. Go ahead.
Where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Cephas followed him afar off onto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahshua to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Elohim and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answer you nothing. What is it which these witness against you? But Yahshua beheld his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him,
See, we claim that we servants of the Most High and Yahshua, but we don't follow our instruction. Verse 62, and the high priest arose and said unto him, Answer you nothing. What is it which these witness against you? But Yahshua held his peace. They tell us you had a right to remain silent.
Well, let me tell you what had happened, officer. See, I was coming down the hill. And I saw James and I said, I'm going to bust on that fool. So then I got...
Yahshua held his peace. Why you can't hold yours? Why you can't hold yours? And we're talking about, it's one thing to hold your peace when you don't know nothing. It's something altogether different to hold your peace when you know everything. That's a different kind of holding. Go ahead.
This is a courtroom, right? They call them witnesses, right?
What do you think that high priest was? That was your deputy.
He held his peace in the courtroom.
Okay.
I adjure you by the living Elohim, that you tell us whether you be the anointed, the son of Elohim. Yahshua says unto him, You have said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven.
Now, look at what this talking, because he ready to, man, look, go ahead, let's go ahead and get this thing over with, man, because I need to be out of here by sundown. I got, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look at me, I got somewhere to be. You know what I'm saying? I got all to do, and I got to do, come on, brother. What y'all gonna do, man? Y'all, this is taking too long, man. Y'all ain't never gonna make detective. Look at it, man. Y'all suck. Go ahead.
Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he has spoken blasphemy.
In other words, he said, all right, they're trying to go ahead and talk so they can go ahead and get this going. Because clearly, they don't have what it takes to make this happen. So not only did he not shy away from it, he go ahead and expedites the situation. Go ahead.
What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What think you? They answered and said, he's guilty of death.
Uh-huh.
Then did they spit in his face.
Yeah, Yahweh can't save him from that. He need to feel it. Go ahead.
And buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands.
He can't save him from that. You need to. They need to slap you. They need to spit at you. Go ahead.
Saying, prophesy unto us, you Messiah. Who is he that smote you?
I mean, his whole testimony is the testimony of prophecy. He gets slapped, spitted on, and then they say, prophesy. This is not because something went wrong. All of this is because something went right. This is a part of his walk. This is what he was asking to get out of. Go ahead.
Now Cephas sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, you also was with Yahshua of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what you saith.
Now, all of us swear we down like 4 flat tires. You know what I'm saying? I'm your soda cracker, you chewing the back of your nigga, you don't get no blacker. You know what I'm talking about? I'm down. Right. When them folk come,
I swear I don't know sock. You ain't never seen me with sock. No, you ain't there. All you saw was sock in that curtain.
Right. Go ahead.
And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto him that were there, this fellow was also with Yahshua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came on to him they that stood by, and said to Cephas, surely you also are one of them, for your speech bewrays you. Then began he to curse and to swear,
And
saying,
that's when we really trying to prove a lie. Then we start cussing and everything, and we thinking that gonna make us, it better. So we gonna say how much we really are showing you that we mean this, and we don't mean it. We just lying. All right. So he gets deeper into it. I tell you, I don't know the man. Go ahead.
I know not the man. And immediately the cock crowed.
Understand something now. Now he was already told this. Go ahead.
And Cephas remembered the word of Yahshua, which said unto him, before the cock crow, you shall deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly.
He went out and wept bitterly. But this is a part of his walk. Yahshua had to go through what he had to go through, and he had to fall. He had to deny this man in the heat of when this man needed him. But it wasn't nothing he can do at that point. Yahweh has now used that fall to make him be about the business going forward. Yahshua, if this was a fall to death, surely Yahshua could have covered him. But Yahshua didn't keep it from happening. He told him it was going to happen. There are certain things that we have to get through our head that is just a part of your story. It is not that you have done anything wrong. This is how he's going to strengthen you. Let's go to Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9, and let's start at verse 46.
Then there arose a reasoning among them, which of them should be greatest. And Yahshua, perceiving the thought of their heart, took a child and set him by him, and said unto them, Whosoever shall receive this child in my name receives me, and whosoever shall receive me receive him that sent me. For he that is least among you all, the same shall be great.
Uh-huh.
And Johanan answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in your name, and we forbade him, because he follows not with us. Yahshua said unto him, Forbid him not, for he that is not against us is for us. And it came to pass, when the time was come that he should be received up, he steadfastly set his face to go to Jerusalem, and sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into a village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. And when his disciples, Jacob and Johanan, saw this, they said, Adne, will you that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? But he turned and rebuked them and said, You know not what manner of spirit you are of. For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. And it came to pass.
Now, some people could just stop walking. They say,
You know, you ain't have to get personal. I mean, you ain't have to hurt nobody's feelings. You could have just said no. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to go in there and talk about I didn't know what the spirit I was and all that. You didn't have to do all that. And you think just because you're a God, you can tell people stuff.
Right. Some people did when they leave Yahshua church, right? Did they last day at
I ain't going to Yahshua church no more. Because he ain't have to say that. I don't know what kind of spirit I'm of.
right. They already done set up their own YouTube page. Go ahead, bro.
And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, Adne, I will follow you wherever you go. Yahshua said unto him, Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has not where to lay his head. And he said unto another, Follow me. But he said, Adne, suffer me first to go and bury my father. Yahshua said unto him, Let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the kingdom of Elohim.
There's a whole group of people that's going to left right there. Whole group. Go ahead.
And another also said, Adne, I will follow you, but let me first good bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. Yahshua said unto him, No man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of Elohim.
There's some more people that just left. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yahshua church is diminishing quickly. Now, all he doing is talking now. But see, people are getting offended. Easily offended. Now, how are we so easily offended? Because we got lured in Sunday morning, all they said was nice things. So then here, when somebody says something real, you are offended at every other word. So what happened? Fake love has caused you to not be able to receive real love. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. You see, this is the danger that the Disney Channel has done with our kids. They are desiring fairy tales. They believe if they kiss a few frogs, that they gonna get a prince. No, you just gonna get some warts on your lips. That's what you're gonna end up with. That damn frog is still a frog. That frog ain't gonna change. But those fairy tales, you know how many people spend so much money so they can have this fairy tale wedding ceremony? The image of love is killing us because we're trying to attain unto this thing. Hebrews chapter 12, let's read verses 1 through 15.
Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which does so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. looking unto Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds.
Lest you get to the woe is me.
I can't believe I'm going through all this. Hey, woe is me. Just me. Ain't nobody going through this, just me.
Read, bro.
You have not yet resisted unto blood, striving against sin.
You have not resisted. Ain't nobody bust you in the face 9 times. And the only thing hurt is your feelings.
I can't believe it's always me. I'm the only one they be doing like that.
Right. Tell me what blood you done shed for sin. Go ahead.
And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks unto you as unto children. My son, despise not you the chastening of the Adonai, nor faint when you are rebuked of him.
Right. And Yahweh ain't floating out to the heavens to rebuke you. He gonna get somebody there to rebuke you. He gonna get somebody available to chasten you. Go ahead.
For whom the Adonai loves, he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives. If you endure chastening, Elohim deals with you as with sons.
If you endure. So how much pouting do we get to do before Yahweh put you in another column? It's as if you endure chastening. So the fact that he does chastise you means that you are in the son column. You are in the daughter column. But how are you dealing with that? And does that now move you out of that column? He says, if you endure. Go ahead.
For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if you be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons.
Oh, wait a minute. So that means if you don't endure, you get moved over to the bastard section. You are no longer a son. And it's clearly about how you dealt with the chastisement. So now it is profitable for Yahweh to whoop us. Because he want to see, let me see how you deal with the whooping. Because some people get one whooping and they gone. Other people get a whooping, they say, you know what, I'm going to be better. Go ahead.
Wherefore we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Should we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness.
Right. So he chastises us for our profit, not his profit, our profit. This is going to make you better, make you stronger, make you a better servant, which is going to give you a better place with him. That's all better for you all the way around. But what ends being better does not automatically feel better. Go ahead.
Now no chastening for the present seems to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness.
Afterward. But see, we want what we want, and we want it right now. We want what we want, and we want it right now. We're not worried about afterwards the peaceable fruit of righteousness. No, we want right now. And I can look back at my life and look at every hardship, every deceitful thing, and I can point at absolutely nothing but good things that came from it. Now, if I erase all of that deceit, if I erase all that betrayal, I tell you one thing, we ain't sitting here having this class. And there's several other things that you're just going to have to pull out of my life and erase because they were the end result of some other betrayal or hurt or pain or something. And I look back, I don't want to take those things back. I want those things. That means he was right to send me through that trial. That means he was right. He was always right. Go ahead.
Unto them which are exercised thereby. Verse 12. Wherefore lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Adonai. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of Elohim, lest any root of bitterness spring up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
Right. So within the process of us being made better, we have to make sure that as he is making us better, that we don't become bitter. Because now that bitterness is going to cause some problems with every other thing that he's doing to make you better. All you're going to see is bitter. Every time he go better, you go bitter. So then it's a bad cycle of better, bitter, better, bitter, better, bitter. Sooner or later, it's just going to be bitter, 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 bitter. No better, just bitter. And that is a very, very bad cycle to be on. Let's go to Matthew chapter 21. Matthew chapter 21, and we're going to start at verse 28.
Verse 28. But what think you? A certain man had 2 sons. And he came to the first, and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second, and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not.
So there are some that are going to give you the real answer from their heart, even though it may be tumultuous. But then there's a repenting that happens, and he went. Then there are those that will tell you whatever you need to hear. Sure, I go, sir, and never intended on going. One of them seems more acceptable to you. And that's the one who gave you the nice reply. But that nice replier was also lying. So everything that seems like it's good ain't good. And everything that seems like it's bad is not bad. Go ahead.
Wherefore of them 2 did the will of his father? They say unto him, the first. Yahshua says unto them, Verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of Elohim before
Do
you.
you understand how hard this is? Wait a minute, man. The harlot, the whores, gonna go into the kingdom before you. Wait a minute. I ain't seen no whores keep the Sabbath. What you talking about? That's disrespectful. Yeah, sure, you ain't trying to keep no church. You just not trying to keep no following. You gonna say stuff like that? Well, how you gonna say something like that? Go ahead.
For Yohanan came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him.
Wait a minute. So there is a level of righteousness associated with how they believed. And you know, sometimes we need convincing, and then we need convincing, and then we need the convincing for our convincing. It says the Jews seek after a sign. We want to believe after it's already been proven. Hell, he don't need you to believe that.
You know, I believe when, Christ come back, and then I can put my finger in his wounds.
Oh, well, congratulations. Thank you for believing. Go over there with them goats. Don't need you to believe now. Hell, he needs you now for it. What he needs you for? You believe now because he's standing there. Go over there with the goats. Go ahead.
And you, when you had seen it, repented not afterward, that you might believe him. Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard, and hedged it round about, and digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen, that they might receive the fruits of it. And the husbandman took his servants, and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another. Again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the master therefore of the vineyard comes, what will he do unto these husbandmen? They say unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. Yahshua says unto them, Did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner? This is the Adonai's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of Elohim shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof.
Who are you talking about? The kingdom of Elohim shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. Wait a minute. The same thing that's written in the New Testament is also written in the Old. Who is he talking about? Because you hear other people brag about how they have been able to keep the culture forever, and how they've been there for generations, and how they do this and how they do that. Well, wait a minute. The Old Testament or the New Testament does not agree with the words that are proceeding out of your mouth. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but unto whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parables, they perceived that he spake of them. But when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude, because they took him for a prophet.
All right, let's go to Romans chapter 4. Romans chapter 4, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
What shall we say then? That Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, has found. For if Abraham were justified by works, he has whereof to glory, but not before Elohim. For what says the scripture? Abraham believed Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
Abraham believed. When you believe, there are some things that you do. Go ahead.
Now to him that works is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. But to him that works not, but believes on him that justifies the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. Even as David also describes the blessedness of the man, unto whom Elohim imputes righteousness without works, saying, Blessed are they whose lawlessness are forgiven, and whose sins are covered.
Right. You know, you have the one thing that our forefathers had to perform, you know, these sacrifices to be redeemed. Then you have a situation where blessed are those whose lawlessness is forgiven and whose sins are covered. There's we can walk as much as we possibly can in the word. And then there's those things that we don't know how to count. He does, though. There are things that can be counted for righteousness. And that ain't got nothing to do with how much you read, how much you studied. No. This is why you can't look at somebody and say, they ain't gonna make it. Because Yahweh counting something that can't none of us see. Go ahead.
Blessed is the man to whom the Adonai will not impute sin. Comes this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also? For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness. How was it then reckoned? When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision.
Right. The ordination had not been given, and he is obeying each part of his direction. So here's one thing: we'll follow the direction of everybody going with us. But Yahweh said, "Go down there and go do that." Well, wait a minute. I don't know about this. Now 50,000 people going. Okay, yeah, Yahweh, let's go. How great thou art. Oh, okay. Right. Now you're great. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of righteousness of the faith, which, let me see, how was it then reckoned when he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. And he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of righteousness of the faith, which he had yet being uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all them that believe, though they be not circumcised. The righteousness might be imputed unto them also. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only.
Now, what are you going to say? You might have some vision of somebody or whatever, but man, you got some people who hid slaves. They the descendants of folks who hid slaves to help these people escape. And understand, they would have killed them if they caught them too. There are some things that we don't know how to count. We don't know what the value of that going to be. Go ahead.
But who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect.
Right. When we get of something, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. How much does it take for us to just walk away from something? I mean, Yahweh is presenting some very difficult situations. And because of that, he says, I know Abraham. He will command his family. I know him. He know him through these trials that he has placed upon him and seen how he has reacted. So what does he know about us? See, it's one thing to decide all of these things looking at somebody else's life. Pause for a second and look at the book of your life. What does he know about you? And how much can he place upon you? Go ahead.
Because the law works wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Wherefore it is of faith, that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. As it is written, I have made you a father of many nations, before him whom he believed.
So when Yahweh was dealing with Abraham being a father of many nations, he wasn't talking about all them concubines. That ain't what he was talking about. That ain't what he was talking about. Go ahead.
Even Elohim, who quickens the dead and calls those things which be not as though they were. Who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall your seed be. And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body, now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. He staggered not at the promise of Elohim through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to Elohim, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform.
Right. But what we have to do is make sure we don't get ourselves caught up in thinking we know how Yahweh gonna do something. See, we can believe that he gonna do it, but I think he gonna do it like this. So I'm gonna go down here. Now see, now you about to get yourself killed. Because yeah, you believe he'll do it, but now you trying to figure out how he gonna do it, and you gonna preset yourself. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And therefore was imputed to him for righteousness. Now it was not written for his sake alone that it was imputed to him, but for us also, to whom it shall be imputed, if we believe on him that raised up Yahshua our Adonai from the dead, who was delivered for our offenses and was raised again for our justification.
All right, was delivered for our offenses, but was raised for our justification. Let's go to Matthew chapter 9. So when we then read in Revelation where it says, hey, they couldn't find anybody who was worthy to open the book. They said, uh-oh, we found one who was slain. Wait a minute. This is why when he started asking his daddy, can you take this away? All right, I take this away. Then those people don't get redeemed. Hey, and you can't own that book. So, I mean, what you want me to do here? And you want me to get it? I'm your dad. I own everything. Now I get it for you. It did what you want me to get. It did what you want. Now we're gonna have to find somewhere else to redeem these people. Somebody got to open that book. Now what we gonna do about that? But do you want what you want? Do you want to be comforted right now? Or do you want to offer yourself to comfort the people? Which one do you want? Do you want to be comforted or do you want to offer comfort? Okay. Matthew chapter 9, let's start at verse 9.
And as Yahshua passed forth from thence, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. And he arose and followed him. And it came to pass, as Yahshua sat at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eat your master with publicans and sinners? But when Yahshua heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. But go you and learn what that means. I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Then came to him the disciples of Johanan, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples fast not? And Yahshua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast.
And then shall they fast. Go ahead.
No man puts a piece of new cloth on an old garment, for that which is put in to fill it up takes up from the garment, and the rent is made worse. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runs out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler and worshipped him, saying, my daughter is even now dead, but come and lay your hand upon her, and she shall live. And Yahshua arose and followed him, and so did his disciples.
So the opening part, my daughter is near dead, all right? But come and lay your hand upon her, and she shall live. His belief is already, he's speaking the belief in Yahshua. He didn't ask. What we do is we go to a place and then we ask, doctor, can you heal? He told the doctor. He didn't ask the doctor, he told the doctor. Go ahead.
And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. But Yahshua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, Daughter, be of good comfort. Your faith has made you whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour.
Your faith has made you whole. Not that you touch, because you know, other folks gonna tell you,
See what she did? She touched the fringes. See, that's what healed her. It was the fringe when she put her hands on that law. You see?
that is not what the hell is going on right there. But be careful who you listen to, because that's their version of that. He said exactly what healed your faith. You had belief before you touched me. Some people got to touch you, then they have belief. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels and the people making a noise, he said unto them, Give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleeps. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in.
Now. He didn't go in while the people still laughing. See, he got to get rid of that negative energy. If faith helped make all of these people whole, the laughers don't have belief. He can't work in that environment. Go ahead.
And took her by the hand, and the maid arose.
Okay. Now, he could have did that in front of all the people. Wait a minute. He would have got all the glory. He would have got all the fame. He would have got all the recognition. But he refused to work around those non-believers. Will we do what it takes? Will we turn around and say, no, I can't work amongst this. Get them out of here. Now we can go ahead and deal with the business. He could have got much fame doing this from these people, in front of these people. But he moved that negativity out of the room. Go ahead.
And the fame hereof went abroad into all that land.
Check that out. Well, wait a minute. He'd have been way more famous if he did it in their presence. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, You son of David, have mercy on us. And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him. And Yahshua says unto them, Believe you that I am able to do this?
Do you believe that I am able to do this? This is a very interesting question. Why didn't he just heal him? So a question then gets presented. If he's asking this question, how much of our own healing are we delaying because we don't believe that it's healable? Go ahead.
You know, Elder, here's another situation where he could have got fame, because this started from them following him out in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't take care of it there. So when they got in the house, then he decided, okay, I'll take care of the business for you.
Mm-hmm.
They said unto him, Yes, Adonai. Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to your faith, be it unto you.
Now, how did he know their faith? Their faith came by the confession from their mouth. Do you believe? Yes, we believe. Their faith was proven by the words that proceeded out of their mouth. We believe that you are able to do this. Then he says, your faith has made you whole. What if one said, I believe, the other said, well, I believe it when I see it. Because I can't see. I'm blind. So you need to see to believe that you can see? Damn, that deep right there. That deep right there. Go ahead.
And their eyes were opened, and Yahshua straightly charged them, saying, See that no man knows it. But they, when they were departed, spread abroad his fame in all that country.
Now, what was Yahshua really asking? Because you know he all but said tell everybody.
See that you don't tell nobody.
Man, everybody knew we couldn't see, bro. But you know how many people finna ask me, bro, when you start seeing? Well, y'all sure came out here that did this thing. They're gonna have to answer this over and over and over. This is not when it's like being in a little country town where everybody know everybody. Okay? 10,000 people know you can't see. Don't you realize you're finna get 10,000 questions? What happened to you? What happened to you? Sooner or later, you're going to have to wear a sign. Y'all sure heal me. And they're just going to keep asking you over and over and over. How you expect me to keep this? Go ahead.
As they went out, behold, they brought to him a dumb man possessed with a devil. And when the devil was cast out, the dumb spake, and the multitudes marveled, saying, it was never so seen in Israel. But the Pharisees said, he cast out devils through the prince of the devils.
Uh-huh.
And Yahshua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted, and were scattered abroad, as sheep having no shepherd. Then says he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
Uh-huh.
Pray you therefore the Adonai of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
All right. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 9. First Corinthians chapter 9, and let's start that at verse 1.
Am I not an apostle? Am I not free? Have I not seen Yahshua HaMashiach our Adonai? Are not you my work in the Adonai? If I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal of mine apostleship are you in the Adonai. Mine answer to them that do examine me is this. Have we not power to eat and to drink? Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Adonai and Cephas? Or I only and Barnabas? Have not we power to forbear working? Who goes a warfare anytime? Who goes at a warfare anytime at his own charges? Who plants a vineyard and eats not of the fruit thereof? Or who feeds a flock and eats not of the milk of the flock? Side these things is a man, or says not the law the same also? For it is written in the law of Moshe, you shall not muzzle the mouth of the ox that treads out the corn. Does Elohim take care for oxen? Or says he it altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt, this is written, that he that plows should plow in hope, and he that thresheth in hope should be partaker of his hope. If we have sown unto you spiritual things, is it a great thing if we shall reap your carnal things? If others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of the Mashiach. Do you not know that they which minister about holy things live of the things of the temple? And they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar? Even so has the Adonai ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
Right, but you know, only Hebrews are the only ones that will question you about everything. You get a new pair of shoes, the Hebrews swear they bought it. You know, we didn't do that in Sunday church. That dude pulled up in a Bentley. We ain't asking folk no question. Matter of fact, we live vicariously through the leader. He said, you're supposed to live of it. It's supposed to take care of you. But he said, nonetheless, hey, he had his own job. He was like, because I don't want to hear your mouth. Why would he have to do that? This is what it's amazing how much you have to do when you get in the truth. I remember getting to a point, man, my family telling me, I can't wait till the day the camp can take care of itself. Because it was taking my whole check that I'm working way over here and dumping the whole thing into the church. I hadn't paid my mortgage in 10 months. My family looking at me like, man, we about to be homeless because you want to be the man of God. Oh, no, when I read this, I feel this. I don't just read this right here. I feel this. I remember looking at them strange looks at my house. So what? It was bread at the church. Right. Go ahead.
But I have used none of these things, neither have I written these things, that it should be so done unto me. For it were better for me to die, than that any man should make my glorying void. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me, if I preach not the gospel. For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me.
Wait a minute, because if it starts being against your will, now the work is hindered because of the spirit of how you're doing the work. Now, although it is a good thing, you just turned a good thing bad. Go ahead.
What is my reward then? Verily that, when I preach the gospel, I may make the gospel of Yahshua without charge, that I abuse not my power in the gospel.
But don't get it twisted. Yahweh know when you're soaking up gain for free, and sooner or later he gonna hand you a bill. It won't be from us, it'll be somewhere else. So he'll let you soak up that gain, and then he gonna pay that restitution. But then you gonna go somewhere else, and he'll be like, what? Man, my furnace broke, I gotta pay $10,000. You're like, yeah, that's that bill. Remember all that gain you was soaking up for free? Here go your bill. Now I paid it, I made somebody else pay that bill, now you finna pay theirs. Here you go. Oh, no. Ain't no free lunch. The lunch gonna be paid for by somebody. You might not have paid for the lunch today, but somebody gonna pay for that chocolate milk. Believe that. He gonna make sure the business gonna get taken care of, but he don't need none of us. He'll make the business get taken care of out of the blue. Something happened. When we got the last building, I swear I was about to get in trouble. IRS called me, only to figure out. They said, oh, we were trying to find you because we owed you some money. I said, well, yeah, go ahead and get the bill. And then I've been running like hell. I'm running. They say, hey, y'all seen something? Now, hey, he not here. You know, hey. Them folks caught up with me and gave me some money. What the hell they do that at? I hadn't filed taxes in 10 years. How the hell you find me after 10 years and say, you owe me some money? I'll tell you how. Yahweh. I was running like hell. I done went to go see tax professionals.
Hey, man, can you show me how not to go to prison?
And then they give me money. Okay. Right. But trying to figure out how Yahweh gonna do something, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. You're gonna get yourself in trouble because you're gonna try to make it happen yourself. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. Go ahead.
For though I be free from all men, yet have I made myself servant unto all, that I might gain the more. And unto the Yehudis I became as a Yehudim, that I might gain the Yehudims. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law.
Okay, so then now there has to be a different way that things are presented so that it can be open unto all men. But wait a minute, some people are going to get upset about that. So what may upset one group is what's opening the door for another. Go ahead.
To them that are without law, as without law, being not without law to Elohim, but under the law to Yahshua, that I might gain them that are without law. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you. Know you not that they which run in a race run all, but one receives the prize? So run, that you may obtain. And every man that strives for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beats the air, but I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
If you're going to bring your body into subjection, that means there's going to be certain things that you can do that you won't do. If you're going to bring your body into subjection, that means you're going to deny yourself some things that you believe your body can partake in. Let's go to Luke chapter 7. See, this is what those parts where we go through the 24-hour fast, and you realize how many times you get hungry within 24 hours. And how many times they go away. Now, what happens if you got to feed every desire of hunger that arises? You done ate a whole lot of time in that day. Every time the flesh say, "No, I gotta have this." Man, is that butter on that biscuit? But the flesh start telling you all sorts of things in 24 hours, Jack. But you start to learn, wait a minute, this is not just about not eating. Yahweh is dealing with something much deeper than that. When you go to the mall, you see, man, I gotta have that shirt. You gotta have it. No, I gotta have that one. You gotta have it. Hold for a second. The desire passed. Look, sometimes you be on the left the mall and forgot, I didn't go back and get this shirt. Right. You ain't have to have that shirt. Go ahead. Luke chapter 7, started at verse 24.
And when the messengers of Johanan were departed, he began to speak unto the people concerning Johanan. What went you out into the wilderness for to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went you out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they which are gorgeously apparelled and live delicately are in king's courts. But what went you out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and much more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before your face, which shall prepare your way before you. For I say unto you, among those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than Johanan the Baptist. But he that is least in the kingdom of Elohim is greater than he. And all the people that heard him and the publicans justified Elohim, being baptized with the baptism of Johanan. But the Pharisees and lawyers rejected the counsel of Elohim against themselves, being not baptized of him. And the Adonai said, Whereunto then shall I liken the men of this generation? And to what are they like? They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace and calling one to another, and saying, We have piped unto you, and you have not danced. We have mourned to you, and you have not wept. For Johanan the Baptist came, neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and you say, He has a devil. The Son of Man is come, eating and drinking, and you say, Behold, a gluttonous man and a wine-bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of all her children. And one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with him, and he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat. And, behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Yahshua sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment.
All right, now, the woman is a sinner. Everybody knows she is a sinner. But she went right into the Pharisee house. Now he got a problem with the woman. Why she felt so comfortable coming to your house though? Go ahead.
And stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. And Now when the Pharisee which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, This man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that touches him, for she's a sinner.
He should have known what manner of woman this was. Didn't he understand? Go ahead.
And Yahshua answering said unto him, Simeon, I have somewhat to say unto you. And he says, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had 2 debtors. The one owed him 500 pence, and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which of them will love him most? Simeon answered and said, I suppose that he, to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, You have rightly judged.
Now, how is it that we have a problem dealing with that? It says, who do you think will love him most? The one who he has forgiven the most. We turn around and operate in life opposite. We'll turn around and deal with some people that I'm talking about our day ones, and we'll chump them off to deal with somebody we just met last week. You know how much stuff them people done been through with you? It is amazing how we let certain things go. And how have we looked at that from Yahweh's perspective? How much love do we have for him, considering all of the altercations that he has forgiven us from? Where are we drawing that line saying, I won't go this far? Oh, really? You won't make that change for him? Well, maybe I guess he hadn't forgiven you of much then. I guess you pretty much had it together when you showed up. He had so you're not willing to inconvenience yourself for him. I guess he really didn't have to forgive much when it came down to you. You was pretty much perfect. You just needed to know Yahweh's name, and then that finished your perfection. That's ultimately what we're saying. Brother, we're gonna stop right there. We'll get into the rest next week. That is all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.